Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Two Angry Dudes Talk Sports podcast. We were on the other side of the Thanksgiving long weekend in Canada, so happy Thanksgiving to you.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving to you and everyone else.
How was your weekend?
Not too bad. I had to work the whole weekend, but other
Yeah,
than
you
that,
did.
not so bad.
You had to work. I ate. I drank. I watched sports.
Yeah.
It was a good weekend.
Yeah, I'm jealous. Jealous of your weekend for sure.
All right. Well, if you were more like Colby and not like me, and you couldn't sit there and watch sports all weekend, we are going to recap the last week and a bit here as we get caught up from our intro episode.
Yeah.
So I think what we're going to start with here, it's on the top of mind, and today is Wednesday, I think, October 15th.
Yeah.
So at the time of recording, we're just before the Jays' third game in the ALCS. So I think we're going to start there.
Yeah.
Um, wow. All right. So here we are. We were riding real high last week after beating the Yankees in 4 games to move on to the ALCS, and all of a sudden the magic sure has disappeared, and there's an awful lot of pessimism
Yeah.
around this team now.
Yeah.
Um,
The one on Sunday was tough.
that was I would say tough watch, but I didn't actually watch all of it.
Yeah.
I did give
Homer on the first pitch and then nothing after that.
nothing again.
Yeah.
Um, eh, I don't want to spend all my time on the Jays, but something I did talk about over the weekend is, and I doubt you saw this, but before their first game of the year, the Jays put out a video in their opener on the big screen in the stadium, and it said essentially, "Hey, we sucked last year. We know we sucked last year. We're sorry that we sucked last year, and this year will be better."
Yeah.
Well, lo and behold, they 94 wins. They win the AL East, so they sure did live up to that. That's pretty cool that they wasn't just lip service, but now there's some lofty high hopes, and I'm hoping that tonight we can at least turn this around and make this a bit of a series.
Yeah, it'd be good to get a couple wins at least. Make it a little bit
He's
interesting.
came this far, so why the heck not, right?
Yep.
um, Now, living up to our name here, Two Angry Dudes. Boy, what really makes me angry, though, coming out of that Yankees series is the American fans online with all the accusations that the Jays are cheating.
Yeah.
Jays got a guy in the hotel in the stadium with a video camera, and they're relaying signs.
Yeah. It seems to be a big thing ever since, who was it a couple years ago? The
Houston.
Dodgers?
Houston.
Houston Astros. Yeah.
Ah,
Ever since then, it always seems like there's one team that everybody tries to go after for stuff like that, right?
you can tell they just don't pay attention to Canada at all leading up to this because the book, at least in this country, on the Jays was they don't strike out, they make a lot of contact.
Yeah.
So why the Yankees fans were so surprised that this was happening, it could only be cheating. Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wanted
It's
to crawl through the phone some nights.
yeah. It seems to be something that always comes up with, especially when Canada has the minority of teams in the league, like NBA, MLB, couple like that, right? They always kind of get overlooked until they are in the playoffs. Because I remember even
Yeah.
in the NBA when Raptors were going far, like a lot of it was on Kawhi Leonard, but then there was always questions about what they were doing with Kawhi and whether that was with the rules with him sitting out as much as he did and then able to play in the playoffs and all that stuff. So translating that to the MLB, it sure seems like once we start making a run, it makes some American fans upset for sure.
Which shouldn't make me angry. For what it should do is make me just so happy.
Yeah, it should. It really should. It's kind of like when we win in the Olympics and there's
Yeah,
tweets
yeah,
about how they hate Canadian sports and stuff.
yeah.
It's just
The Four
it's
Nations face off during the
mhm.
whole tariff war and shoving that down their throat too. I think they're still salty as part of the problem. So,
Yeah, definitely.
but
We'll see
yeah,
though.
so exactly. On the other side of things, boy, the Dodgers just keep cleaning up,
Yeah, they're on a good run, that's for sure.
and they just don't care about the regular season. They just limp their way in. find themselves in a wild card spot, and then they just win, win, win,
Yeah.
win,
That
and they're on the
seems to be kind of the way sports are heading in general, right? Like most sports seem to be aware of attrition. Like touching on the Raptors, Kawhi
yeah.
Leonard sits out half of the regular season games, and then they win. You get that in the NHL too, right? Put people on injury reserve. Like there's all the cap hit stuff that goes
Oh
along with
yeah,
that as well. But that seems to be something, right? Keep their players fresh, make a long, like just squeak through to the playoffs, and then once they're in the playoffs, they can get those people going, and then they got all their star talent going. So yeah,
yeah, they do. Just way out pitching
yeah,
Milwaukee on the other side. So
yeah.
I think it'll be a sweep,
Mm-hmm.
is my guess, and Dodgers will be in the World Series again. But yeah, touch on that. The direct comparison is Florida in the NHL.
Yeah,
They
100%. Yeah,
they don't care. They've
yeah,
played more hockey in the last 3 years than any other team.
yeah.
Three straight Cup Finals. They say, "Hey, we'll make the playoffs, and good luck, everybody else,
Yeah.
once we get there."
Yeah, I think the big team that stands out for me is Tampa Bay because I
Yeah,
think Florida took that page right out of Tampa Bay's book, right? Like they made it to the Stanley Cup a couple years in a row
right.
by putting people on injury reserve and bringing them back for the playoffs. And yeah, war of attrition. Every sport seems to be doing it. Whoever can hold on the longest seems to thrive once playoff season comes. So
Absolutely. Speaking of that, the NHL season's been underway for a week and a half ish, if my math is correct.
yeah.
What are we thinking? How are we looking?
Uh, I think it looks like, in my opinion, it looks fairly similar to the last couple of years, right? You got a strongish start from Edmonton. You got a strong start from the Panthers. I think Edmonton fans are a little riled up about Skinner, but he comes through so far when he needed to, right? And I don't know. I mean, the Calgary game obviously hits a little harder and is going to rile them up a little bit more because you never want to lose to another Albertan team. The Battle of Alberta, the blood runs thick in that one. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I've never had so many arguments about a sport so early into the season, but I I have been, and I hate to do it, but I've just been battling for the Florida Panthers, who everybody said, "Oh, Barkov's hurt, Kachuk's hurt. They might not even make the playoffs." And I'm sitting there going, "That is just the dumbest take
mm-hmm.
I've ever heard."
Yeah,
Like, I don't care who they're missing.
yeah,
I bet you, and one of my early season predictions offline with a mutual of ours, I've been just battling with them. I said they're going to finish one or two in the Atlantic still.
mm-hmm.
I know it's not very far in, but they are 3-0
Yep,
and don't really look to be missing
yeah,
those injured individuals all too much. So I do think that they'll probably still walk through this Atlantic, because everybody else in the Atlantic is, I mean, Tampa's off to a rough start. Toronto looks like they miss Marner way more than they should. They're struggling. Finally get a win again last night against Nashville of all teams. It's not much to be excited about after getting dummied by Detroit in a back-to-back situation.
yeah, yeah. I hear you.
um,
Yep,
Ottawa injuries again to the other Kachuk, and
yep,
you just never know what they're going to do. Montreal looks great,
yep. Montreal's
which
looking strong.
painful to say for me as well. But
Yeah, all those teams right around your area are doing pretty good so far.
yeah, even Boston, who blew their team up the last 2 years, they're off to a pretty decent start.
Yeah.
They look like they're going to score way more than I thought they were, which is what I thought was going to hold them back. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and Buffalo is Buffalo, yet to win.
Yeah.
This is
Buffalo's
just
doing
a
Buffalo
recurring
things.
story. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
They've struggled for a long time and they can't seem to get anything going, that's for sure.
very long time. And looking at again, we're a week in, but looking at the playoff picture in the East, uh, I think both wildcard spots go to the Atlantic,
Mm-hmm.
the Metro.
Yeah.
You got Carolina there. They're of course going to walk their way into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Washington is an older team who had that Ovechkin chase on their backs last year that I think drove them, for Gretzky's record, the whole team. I don't think it'd be overstated how much that really pushed the whole team last year to achieve heights that I don't think they're going to redo this year. I think they're in trouble.
Yeah, I agree.
New Jersey injuries just are a constant plague there. Pittsburgh is an absolute disaster. They got to get Crosby out of there for the tail end of his career before he goes down in flames.
Yeah, which is tough to see.
That is. The Rangers, who have played 3 games at home and haven't even scored.
Yeah,
home.
that's
Oh,
that's a tough one. They're
that's a tough one to swallow.
Yeah, that would be demoralizing for sure.
It is, and then you got Philly, Columbus, New York, all of which are afterthoughts. At least for me at this point, I'm not worried about them.
Yeah, I
Go
would
ahead.
agree with most of the takes you have so far. Yeah, I think Detroit's going to do a little stronger this season than they have the last couple, but I don't think they'll make a big run or anything. They still got some building blocks to kind of put in place before they have a strong enough team to go the distance, right? But yeah, I think
Not to belabor the point, but apparently, if Detroit plays Toronto all year, they'll be fine.
yeah, they just got to play their rivals and they'll be all right. That's the important
they played 1 game there, and head coach Todd McClellan just absolutely tore him a strip after that first game, which is unheard of. But boy, did it work!
Yep. Yeah, it's I don't know. NHL to me is looking fairly similar to the last couple of years. I think Oilers are going to do well. I think Panthers are going to do well. Kind of the same teams in the mix that usually would be. I think I agree with you that Washington probably will not do as strong as they did last year. Yeah, I don't really know yet. I'm being reserved in my predictions, but I think yeah, I'm going the safe route with the Oilers and the Panthers for sure.
Well, yeah, you're right. I think safe. Usual suspects in the West: Colorado, Dallas. They look like they're going to be just fine.
Yep.
Winnipeg, I'm sure will be just fine. And really cool to see Jonathan Toews playing again for them.
Definitely.
That's a neat story to watch this year.
Yep.
Curious to see if Chicago can be anything other than a basement dweller. Year 3 for Bedard.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice to see him thrive a little bit. There was a lot of hype with him coming in and stuff, but I mean, yeah, one guy can only do so much when there's 9 other people on the ice at a time making a difference, right? So
yeah. And of course you have Vegas with the addition of Marner over the summer. I would not be surprised to see them in a cup final again, to be honest, from the west side.
Yep.
Then you have your trio of Californian teams that I really think will be better this year. You have, well, I mean, LA better in the sense that maybe they'll make it through the first round if they can avoid Edmonton for what would be the 4th or 5th year in a row.
Yep.
Anaheim and San Jose, just tons of young talent.
Yep.
I think that they could take a step, but that's hard to predict.
Yeah, I think there'll be teams to watch in the next couple of years. Probably, I don't know if it'll be this year though.
Then just a lot of unknowns to me in the West. Seattle,
yeah,
they have pieces there. I don't know what they're going to do with them. Vancouver, they're either the best team in the West or they are just terrible.
Yep. And they always wait for the terrible till the playoffs.
Yeah, that's right. Calgary, like you mentioned, that first game of the year, they massively outplayed by Edmonton, but managed to take advantage and get a win, and then they dropped the next 3.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, Flames might be in trouble. I feel like living in Alberta, there's always a lot of hope that both Calgary and Edmonton are both going to do well, no matter which side of that scale you land on. But yeah, I don't see Calgary making a push this year, really.
Yeah, especially come playoff time, right? I think Canada as a country, we're just ready.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter which team you root for in this country. When it comes down to the playoffs, since the last team standing from Canada, you got to back them because it's just We've had enough.
Yeah, that's my motto is I will cheer for any team that's against Edmonton until Edmonton's the last one standing, and then I'll go for them.
Totally fair. Yeah, totally fair. I don't blame you there.
uh,
So, last thing for me with the NHL is, I mean, crazy this past Saturday. Sure, what date that would have been anymore. The 11th. I think we had 6 rookies in one day score their first NHL goals. So,
wow, big day.
yeah, that's always kind of cool.
Yeah,
It's good to know because I was talking about this with my family a little bit earlier. Is Crosby's still kicking,
yeah,
but Kopitar's announced this is last year. It's widespread speculation that it's Ovechkin's last year.
yeah.
Tays was out of the league, came back hopefully for a swan song here, but those guys that we grew up with are disappearing. So it's good to know that there's another wave coming. That
Yeah,
I'm certainly out of touch with them in terms of their junior highlights and the hype around them, but
yeah.
it's good to know that the league's going to have some talent still coming in.
Yeah, we definitely need some heroes besides McDavid in the league. I'm getting sick of hearing about McJesus all the time. That's all you seem to hear about anymore, and it's just like I want to see some other guys thrive. I want to see some diversity across the league a little bit. So it'd be good to get some hype around some guys for sure.
Yeah, something to cheer for in the regular season. 'Cause that's another one where I'm just like, wake me up in the start of the playoffs.
And we're a long ways out from that.
We are a long ways out, so
Yeah,
hopefully there's something to keep us entertained along the way.
definitely.
All
Yeah,
right. Well, that kind of leaves us with the NFL here because the NBA is still in preseason.
yeah.
Could not care any less about the NBA preseason, so I think we're going to blow right past that.
Nope, I barely care about the NBA regular season right now, if I'm honest. But
There's too much else going on,
yeah,
right?
there sure is. It's a busy time of the year for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, NFL Week 6, we had Philadelphia versus New York. The Giants, big upset on the Thursday night football.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a surprising one to watch, actually, for me. I did not see that going any other way than Philadelphia kind of running all over New York the whole game. I think that they kind of had some issues once they had to start throwing the ball because they got behind.
Yeah.
Not to shit on
Not their
Jalen
game,
Hurts
is
at
it?
all. I think that
Yeah.
he's a fine quarterback. I just think that a lot of Philadelphia's game is carried by Saquon and Jalen's legs, right? Like I think that they get a lot going, but it's kind of exciting to see Jackson Dart get some reps in there and look good. Little bit of a scare near the end of the game there, but I think that was a big one. Other notable upsets. I mean, we had Los Angeles beat Miami, but that's kind of how the season's looking for Miami. They're in a tough spot, I think, especially losing.
They're in trouble.
Yeah, losing Hill now. I think they're gonna be struggling the whole way through there.
Tua comes out on the podium after the game and just introduces head coach to the underside of a bus.
Yeah, but I think
I don't think he's got a lot of life left there.
yeah, it's a tough one because they do have a lot of talent on that team. It just kind of seems like something needs to get shaken up, and I don't know if it is coaching or if it's. Yeah, I'm not really sure where they're struggling so much, but they've had good talent. They've been ridden by injuries the last few years and stuff. That's kind of held them back, but it's an interesting to see what they do to kind of shake things up there in Miami. Other notable upsets. We had Carolina beating Dallas in a close one.
Is that an upset?
I mean, if you talk to any Cowboys fan, it is the end of the world for them.
Yeah, totally.
I don't have a whole lot of faith in the Cowboys anymore, but it seems like their fans do, so I'll consider it an upset for this week.
Cowboys are the Leafs of the NFL.
Yeah, no kidding.
I saw.
Yeah, some of the top paid guys in the league, but they can't do anything with them. Yeah, I don't know. Everything else was kind of straightforward. Baltimore continues their struggles in a 17-3 loss to the Rams, which is a really tough one.
Yeah, the Falcons beating the Bills.
That is another big one that I overlooked. Yep,
Yeah,
that's the Bills just looked like they couldn't get anything going. Like Atlanta defense held Allen like at bay. He
yeah.
just can't fault the guy. He tried really hard to get something going. Like he was putting the team on his back for a bit, but just could not find anybody. And Atlanta just seemed to seize every opportunity to score. And yeah, that was a good one.
I, I do feel for Josh Allen, who could
Mm-hmm.
very well be on his way to another MVP campaign, but like
Yeah.
he just can't. He just can't. He's like LA running into the Oilers, or the Oilers running into Florida. It's like as soon as he runs in to the Chiefs,
Yeah. Yeah.
he just can't find a way.
Yeah.
And speaking of, I mean, the Chiefs were off to a rough start, hey, but
Yeah.
doesn't really seem to be any worries after that.
No, big win over Detroit. That's for sure. Like Detroit's a fairly strong team, and they seem to kind of pull themselves together a little bit this week, which was, I mean, nice to see. I'm kind of one of the guys that's a little bit bored of Kansas City at this point, but it's you never want to see them go down in
Yeah,
flames either. Like they had such a good run for so long that, yeah,
nobody's happier about that outcome than the Packers fans.
yeah,
To see to see the Lions rack up. I mean, only their second loss, but
yeah,
boy, the Packers are really making an argument over there in the NFC North as well.
yeah,
I didn't have faith. I know a
no,
lot of Packers fans did, but
yeah. They're making things happen right now. That's for sure.
sure. I mean, that NFC North is it's interesting. You got 3-1 for the Packers, 4-2 for the Lions, 3-2 for the Vikings and Bears,
Yeah,
which is on the closer end of things for most of these divisions. There's not a whole lot of separation
yeah,
there in the NFC North. So
yeah. Another one I think
that's
to
what
keep
we
an eye on is NFC East. There's a
yeah.
lot of struggles going on there right now. I mean, the Eagles are, I mean, you can say they're struggling because of this week and losing to the Giants, but like, yeah, besides them, I think it's Washington Giants this week coming up, maybe. And
Maybe well, yeah.
I think whoever loses that one is in big trouble. Because you look at them 4-2 for the Eagles at the top, and then 3-3, 2-3-1, and 2-4. So it's gonna be a bit of a struggle to
Yeah.
get into the playoffs with records like that this early in the year.
As mentioned in our intro, I'm not the biggest NFL guy, but some of the names I do know, for better or for worse, is Baker Mayfield, and this guy
Mm-hmm.
has the Bucks at 5-1,
Mm-hmm.
6 weeks in.
Yep.
Did you see that coming?
I did not. I did not see that coming. I thought they'd be a strong team because they have been the last few years, right? But 5-1
Yeah,
is a very impressive record for them. They,
and the guy's playing at a caliber that is unbelievable. Given where, I mean, he's always had the talent, but the storylines around him
yeah,
in his early years was tough.
yep,
So, I mean, props to him for bouncing out of that and doing what he's doing, because
for sure.
I never would have guessed that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. Like next week, they got Detroit. It'll be interesting to see how they do against them. They've had a fairly lax schedule if you look at the teams they've played. Like they barely won against Atlanta, barely won against Houston, barely won against the Jets, and then lost to the Eagles. So it's going to be like all their games besides the one against San Fran have been within 3 points except for their loss to the Eagles. So it's yeah, as impressive as as impressed as I am with him, it'll be interesting to see once they start facing more stronger teams consecutively here because their last half of their schedules also kind of lax. So we'll see what they can pull here.
Which the argument there going into the playoffs always is, do you want lax games, or do you want to be running at high intensity going into the playoffs?
Yeah, I think.
I don't know what the answer is to that, to be honest with you, because I've seen it work both ways.
Yeah, I think in a game like football, you almost want the lax schedule at the end of the year because most of these guys are pretty in tune with their timings and their plays and everything that they need to be in tune with. It'll just be kind of making sure that they're fresh enough and have few enough injuries to kind of take on some of those stronger teams going into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, it worked for KC last year. I know Mahomes definitely didn't play the last game. Did he play much of the second to last? They were just
Yeah.
throwing games away. They hadn't lost. They,
Yeah.
they were just on cruise control trying to get healthy, and I
Yeah.
mean, they went all the way within a step. So
Yeah. Yeah. I think, yeah, like we were touching on earlier, war of attrition. Just got to
yeah,
keep the boys healthy and
survive. You're
everything
right.
will work itself out in the end, kind of thing, right? I mean, whether or not you end up winning it, as long as you make a long run into it, keep the GMs happy and keep the coaches around. So,
It's the key. So great last week with the NHL season kicking off. The MLB playoffs well underway, and I'll miss it once it's done, but it'll be nice to take a step back and relax a little bit from that. So I'm heavily invested and maybe pay attention to some other stuff.
talk to your wife a few more times in the week.
Yeah. Maybe save my liver a little bit.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
but no, it's been a great week. So
Yep.
it's great talking sports with you. But we got to touch on the bad as well, don't we? Now we're going to touch on what is our dumbest sports moment of the week.
Yeah.
Uh, you want to go first?
Sure. I've got
All
Coach
right.
Daboll with
Yeah.
talking earlier. I think he was a little pumped up about their lead over the Eagles. And when Jackson Dart went down there and went into the medical tent, I think he got a little concerned with the outcome of that and the time that the doctors took to assess him because he was losing his mind on them.
Never seen anything. I've never seen anything.
Yeah. Just absolutely losing it. Like I understand the pressure that you're under on a team like the Giants, and I can understand being excited about having a lead over a team like the Eagles. But yeah, those emotions got the best of them in that moment, I think.
It totally did, right? I mean, and I don't think it's ever a good idea for a head coach to lay hands on a team doctor and get up in his face like that. What I would be
uh,
concerned with too is like, does the league, and I haven't heard anything up to this point, does the league do anything? Do they step in?
yeah, I'm thinking we'll hear more about that in the next week or two here. It'll be interesting to see what they kind of if they even deliberate on that or not, but I would assume there's going to be some repercussions coming in his direction there.
Even if not for that, for his wild, let's say, attack of the coach, it's injury prevention. Like
Mm-hmm.
the doctor's there for a reason,
Yeah.
assessing for concussion, which is huge in the sport of NFL and head trauma.
Yeah.
You can't. It's
Yeah.
not a good look.
As
It's not a
someone
good
who's
look,
had quite a few concussions in his life, it's not something you want to play around with, that's for sure.
right? Unbelievable,
Yeah.
crazy. My dumbest sports moment of the week. I struggle to even try and put this into words. So it's San Jose Sharks and their inability to capitalize against the Golden Knights on October 9th. Now, Sharks have a 1-goal lead going into the last minute. Golden Knights pull their goalie. And the Sharks, I kid you not, are inches away from the goal line twice. Twice. To seal this game off.
Yeah.
Say what you want, maybe a great defensive player too by the Golden Knights, some goal line stops, but not only can San Jose not score on the empty net, it goes the other way. Eichel just lobs this puck in from the red line.
Yeah.
A one hopper that I think is probably honestly going wide.
Yeah.
San Jose goalie Nedeljkovic goes out there on his knees to try and blocker this, catch it. I'm not sure what the plan was, and ends up putting it in his own net.
Yeah.
And he's, 12 feet from his own goal line, for God's sake. I have no idea what this guy is doing. He's got to go back and look at the tape of this one and go, what? And coach is like, that's what we're all thinking too, watching it. Like, this is awful.
Yep.
So if it's not bad enough that they can't score on the empty net, goalie pulls this move from the red line, goes to overtime. Puck trickles into the San Jose zone, just over the blue line. Djokovic comes out to play the puck, whiffs, and just gifts it. He gives it to the Knights for essentially an empty netter winner in overtime.
Yeah.
My God, after pulling that move at the end of the third to allow the game tying goal, would you not just want to? I mean, heck, we were both goalies.
Yeah. I'd be
Not at
living
a
in them
high
posts.
level, right?
I would be
I'm tying
living.
myself to the post.
Oh,
I
yeah.
am not skating out there to play a puck just inside the blue line in
Yeah.
overtime.
Yeah.
After that,
Nope.
I would have to think that game tape's being burned as some sort of ritual by San Jose after, like, we have got to get that get
Yeah.
that gone. I don't ever want to see that again.
Oh, yeah. And you got to burn it too, because that's a horrible way to start a season. That
Right?
sets everything up for failure from there on out. Like your mental state would just be completely rattled after that.
It's gone totally. I mean, that was never my strong suit, the mental side of the game, but
Yeah.
my God, I would have a hard time just back in the locker room with everybody else who, he sits down and everybody's just staring at him.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
There'd be
you
some.
can't even get undressed until Rios leaves.
Yeah, that would be a large bar tab that you'd owe to the team after that one, I think.
And again, it's like one game in.
Yep.
Wait, on a new team.
Yep.
Guy makes his way from Pittsburgh as, maybe a glimmer of hope to a team that we mentioned is trying to turn things around.
Yep.
Oof, that's not a good start.
No, it sure wasn't. Yeah, tough. And I mean, all the greats do it, right? You watch Martin Brodeur highlights, and he had a few of those in big playoff games. Even you watch Hasek and his aggressive play. Lots of the greats have them. It's just a matter of being able to forget about them after, I think.
Yeah, totally. It's the compounding of all the events for me. The inability to score on the empty net, the goal from the red line,
Yeah.
leaving your net by 60 feet
Yeah.
in overtime.
It's a tough one.
Gets me hot. That's brutal.
Yeah, be a tough one to take for sure.
All right. Now, before we wrap up, we got to get to our favorite segment here.
That's right.
Which is going to be our WTF segment.
That's right.
So for a reminder, Colby here, he's going to pick a topic, question, concern, whatever it is in the sports world that he doesn't understand. He's going to bring it to the forefront, and I'm going to do my best to explain it.
That's right.
So, WTF.
This week on WTF, we have baseball leagues. Why do they have different rules? What are the different rules? And how the hell does it work when they come together in the playoffs?
So, I love this because you put this on the sheet a week ago, and I told you you're not getting the answer till we record. And there's a very good reason for this, because I know exactly what you're referring to.
Okay.
It's the DH, so the designated hitter in the American League versus the National League.
Okay.
This hasn't existed since 2022.
Ah, no. Irrelevant WTF moment.
But it's some great history.
Yeah.
It's some great history, okay? So up until 2022, I think, starting in from my cursory Wikipedia research, from like 1973 was when the AL adopted the DH, the designated hitter rule. And this was so that somebody could bat in place of the pitcher, so that the pitcher didn't have to pitch and bat.
Okay.
This rule was never adopted in the NL, in the National League on the other side.
Okay.
Couldn't tell you why at that time in history, but I do find it kind of cool that the different leagues had their own rules. It's pretty interesting. But going into the playoffs, like you mentioned, like, how is that going to work in the World Series? Well, it worked in a few different ways. So that DH rule from 1973 to 75 just didn't exist in the in the World Series.
Okay.
So American leaguers had to go there, and their pitcher just had to bat.
Gotcha.
Too bad, so sad.
Hope for the best.
Yes. Then the rule was used by both World Series teams during even numbered years from 76 to 85.
Okay.
So every second year, on even number years,
Gross.
that rule was in place
Yeah.
for both teams.
Okay.
Uh, okay, I can kind of understand where they're trying to even the playing field, but
Yep.
that only works if it's the same two teams in the World Series every year.
100%. Yeah.
Because if not, it's just confusing.
Yeah. Yeah. It sure
uh,
is.
then from 1986 to 2002, when that rule was abolished, um, the rule was dependent on where you were playing. So, in which home stadium you were in. So, if you were playing, the first two games and the American League had home field advantage, you had the DH rule.
Okay.
The next three games, because baseball in a best of seven is 2-3-2. So the next three games in the NL fields, that rule would no longer be in place, and your pitcher would have to bat.
Okay.
Vice versa. So that's the history of the DH rule and why or how it's different in the AL and the NL.
Okay.
I knew the rule went away.
Yeah.
I knew what the rule was. What I didn't know was this interesting history behind it of the even number years and
Yeah. That's crazy.
stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I did have to do a little bit of research, and that was fun. I enjoyed that.
As a
So
pitcher, that would stress me out.
I
Having
mean,
to think
and
about whether I was batting or not for which games and which year and
right, and you see it now. To my knowledge, and I could be wrong about this, but Shohei Ohtani is still the only pitcher who bats.
Okay.
Boy, is he damn good at both of
Yeah. Good for him. Yeah.
them.
It's impressive.
So,
Cool.
yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for making me look that up. I
Yeah.
hope you learned a little something.
I did.
And we're gonna look forward to next week's topic. But before we get to that, what are we looking forward to in the next week of sports?
I mean, NFL Sunday, but I'm looking forward to some more hard hitting action. I don't think I even really have games that I'm necessarily excited for. But just in general, see how everything shakes up. I mean, that Tampa Bay Detroit game, that'll be a big one. I'm excited to see that. Hopefully, Tampa Bay can keep things going and everything. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to Detroit plays the Oilers, I think, in the next couple days here. So that'll be interesting for me as a Detroit fan and an Edmonton Oiler hater until they're the last team alive. So those are my big look forward tos. Also, F1 in Texas this weekend.
You're right. Side note, we didn't really talk about that this week, but yeah, that's always a good one. It's a great track.
Yeah.
It's a great track. It's a sprint weekend.
Yeah.
Lots of action and at semi decent digestible time since it is in North America.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
It's not a 5-6 a.m. time, so that's good.
Absolutely.
For me, my sole focus this week is the MLB playoffs, and looking forward to seeing if the Jays can maybe make a series of this and get to a World Series final for the first time in what would be my lifetime. So
yeah,
I'm hanging on
yeah.
for dear life here for the ride. Game 3 starts in a couple hours from us here at the time of recording, and I'm already bouncing.
Yeah, I probably won't be watching it, but I'll be paying attention for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we'll start deep breathing, but looking forward to that, and obviously seeing what will happen on the other side in the NLCS as well.
Yeah.
Quick housekeeping note before we wrap up is I did mention in the intro that we would be on Spotify and Apple Podcasts along with YouTube. Now, we are not on Apple Podcasts as of yet, but we are up and live on Spotify and on YouTube. Again, that is Two Angry Dudes. Two Angry Dudes Talk Sports on Spotify.
Yeah.
So until next week, enjoy your sports.
Bye-bye, everyone.